All right. I'd like to bring this house to order. Welcome to the annual Philo 12 public debates on religion. Given the inherent range in our topic, we have three debaters defending three different stances. Speaking first will be Cass, speaking second will be Jarrell, and speaking third will be Regina. I'm Nessie, the judge for this debate, and I look forward to an engaging round. Debating on the topic, religion is good for society, I'd like to invite Cass to defend her stance. Here.
Based on how religion is approached by academics, I think that religion is good for society as it is dynamic and multifaceted, allowing itself to adapt and respond to the realities of humanity as they constantly change. The vagueness shown in the different observations leave it up to us to showcase a good understanding of it, shape it to its potential, and interpret it in a way that contributes to a meaningful and purposeful society. Firstly, the best definitions don't come at the beginning of research, but rather at the end of our explorations. For example, Clifford Geertz's oft-quoted definition of religion does not encapsulate all its roles, such as ritual, social, and non-cognitive, and fails to take into account that symbols may also express moods and motivations and not simply cause them. Thus, despite having research and background about religion, there is still no universally accepted definition of it that can capture its multidimensional feature. This implies that our stance on whether religion is good for society or not would highly depend on our perspective of religion itself. In such a case, there is no objective understanding of it all, as well as what is truly good for our society. Second, the role of a definition is to some extent pragmatic. This means that religion can either be good or not for society, depending on how we shape it to be. Thus, there could exist both positive and negative effects of religion. For example, if religion is presented as a way to express our beliefs, fulfill our purpose, and connect with other people who share the same understanding, then religion can be good for society. However, if it is shown in a way that causes arguments due to differences in beliefs and hinders social harmony, then it can be viewed as bad for society. Lastly, the boundaries of a concept may be vague, sometimes necessarily so. There may be so many ways to try and define or to make sense of what religion is. For example, the difference in approach is illustrated in Robert Neville's bottom-up approach, containing case studies of particular traditions that aims to overcome the methodological difficulties due to differences by acknowledging a variety of levels of analysis. And this is compared to John Hick, who focused more on the commonalities between them and argues that we all have the same aspirations and ideals deep down. This vagueness in the understanding of religion allows for us to interpret it variously. Overall, the observations do not really provide a clear way to define religion, but its essence on society is primarily shaped by the people. And I think that if expressed and experienced the right way, religion can provide a positive perspective on us.
All right. Thank you, Cass, for that fine speech. Calling on Jarrell to speak next. Here.
Religion is bad for society because it is often weaponized to position certain groups as morally superior as a means to assert power. For example, the Crusades were done in the name of religion, but was actually politically motivated. This point on what is religion, in the viewpoint of an apologetic or a political question, showcases that different definitions of religion may serve different purposes that go beyond mere explanation. These definitions often aim to assign a certain status to religion or allow people to dismiss challenges towards it. For instance, Galileo's defense towards Archduchess Christina in 1615 showcases that religion concerns redemption rather than scientific fact, which demonstrates how definitions of religion can be used to sidestep conflicts with science. The conflict between religion and politics is evident in debates over evolution versus intelligent design, where differing views on religion's nature influence acceptance of evolution. The 1981 Arkansas law mandating balanced treatment of creationism and evolution in schools exemplifies this, as it was struck down for favoring one religious view over others, thereby breaching the separation of church and state. In such cases, debates about religion are not simply between science and faith, but between differing religious perspectives. A pattern also emerges in secular democracies that show that there are opposing religious perspectives that may define religion tactically, which aligns to their general understanding of religion. There are also extreme viewpoints where people may advocate for creationism or secularism, whereby framing religion in ways that support their respective agendas allow them to strengthen their cases for their respective definitions of religion.
Thank you, Jarrell, for that fine speech. And to end this debate, calling on Regina to speak. Here.
Religion is good for society because it has the power to enrich public life by providing moral guidance, fostering community, and promoting respect for others. In societies that include religious perspectives, individuals from diverse backgrounds can engage in dialogue about shared values. In Democracy and Tradition, Jeffrey Stout illustrates the potential of religion to be a force for good in public debates. Stout outlines two common positions on religion in public discourse: the secular exclusion, represented by thinkers like John Rawls and Richard Rorty, and the religiously dominant view, supported by advocates of radical orthodoxy such as John Milbank. Stout critiques both extremes, arguing that excluding religion on the grounds of it being a conversation stopper unnecessarily marginalizes voices with valuable contributions to society. And at the same time, he cautions that allowing religious dominance risks alienating those who don't share specific beliefs. Instead, he advocates for a more balanced inclusion of religion that encourages democratic dialogue. Stout's Emersonian piety concept offers a model for how religion can enhance society without being authoritarian. This approach to religion emphasizes self-reliance, gratitude, and responsibility for one's beliefs, not as isolated truths, but as part of a larger democratic conversation. For instance, he notes that Emersonian piety is not about deferring to higher powers or fixed theological truths, but about respecting nature and society as the sources of our existence. And this form of religious life promotes community values, respect, and gratitude, qualities which are essential for a cohesive society. And lastly, Stout also points to the religious landscape in the Netherlands, for example, as evidence that moderate religious perspectives rather than polarized extremes better serve society. In the Netherlands, strict secularists and religious traditionalists dominate public debates, but a 2004 poll showed that the majority of the population held more moderate beliefs. Roughly a third of the people were neither fully religious nor fully secular, but believed in something. So this silent majority often lacks representation in public debate, highlighting Stout's point that a balanced inclusion for religion can bridge divides and bring together a more representative range of values. So overall, religion is good for society when it fosters mutual respect, gratitude, and open dialogue. Stout's approach shows that when religious voices, especially moderate ones, are included in a democratic process, they can contribute positively to public values without imposing on others.
All right, thank you, Regina, for that fine speech, and thank you, everyone, for the wonderful debate. My oral adjudication will be as follows. First, I will give some general comments and then my decision and justification. But before I move on to my decision, I just want to bring up a couple of observations on the debate. Firstly, I think that this debate became hard to adjudicate because of the difference in the definition of religion, with each definition leading to a difference in the evaluation as to whether or not religion is good for society. For example, I'm compelled to believe Jarrell when he says that religion has been used as a way for institutions to exert power onto people, but I can also believe Cass when she says that the definition of religion is dynamic along with its real life applications and therefore respond to the needs of people on the ground. Equally, Regina's definition of religion shows a more far reaching and timeless impact that religion has in building communities and systems of support. And in regards to that, in engaging in debates about religion, both within the sport and in life, for anything to be conclusively analyzed and weighed, there needs to be alignment on the definition. That being said, in evaluating religion through different lenses within the same debate, the extents ought to be clarified, and this is something I wish the debate did more of. There clearly is a real life implication to this, showing that the way we define religion can change the way we view and value it. This leads me to my decision, and I've decided to call it a tie. All of you have brought up great points, showing the different aspects of religion that can be good and bad depending on the part of it you zoom into. Since none of these definitions were inherently more true or correct than each other, and there wasn't much discussion on that as well, we can settle and say that religion can be good and bad at the same time, depending on how it is utilized. What you guys show is how definitions shape and change debates like this one. That's a great effort from all three.
Now, to conclude, it's clear that religion's role in public life is deeply multifaceted. Religion can inspire moral values and community bonds, yet it may also introduce conflicts when used to assert power or exclude differing views. The perspectives shared show that a balanced approach which respects both secular and religious voices could strengthen democratic dialogue. It's striking how the moderation Valuing mutual respect and inclusion appears essential for religion to benefit society. Ultimately, this debate challenges us to think critically about how best to integrate faith into public discourse while upholding inclusivity and respect for all beliefs. Now, before we end, we would like to leave everyone with a few questions to reflect on. First of all, in what ways do you think religion can contribute positively to public life without imposing on others' freedoms? Second, what does a moderate religious perspective look like in public life and how can it foster inclusivity? Third, how do we ensure that both religious and non religious voices are respected in diverse society? And last, can religion and secular perspectives truly coexist in a way that benefits society? And I'd like to answer the first one. I believe that religion can positively contribute to public life by fostering values like compassion, integrity, and community support, which resonates across diverse groups. When practiced with respect for individual freedoms, religion can enrich public dialogue and promote a culture of mutual understanding without imposing specific beliefs.
A moderate religious perspective in public life is illustrated by a person with a balanced approach to religion, wherein first, there is respect for diversity and beliefs, as a lot of us practice our faith differently, and we have various religions that have unique traditions. Second, care and compassion, especially for the marginalized, as their lives and voices are equally as valuable as ours, but are not usually held in such regard. And third, harmony in upholding social justice, as we all have the same rights and deserve equitable opportunities in society. All these create a culture of inclusivity as they promote a society and a world where everyone is respected and cared for, and everyone tries to understand one another with an open heart and mind.
I think one way to ensure that both religious and non-religious voices are respected in society is to foster an open dialogue between the two different belief systems. This way, whether they are religious or secular, these people can engage in a shame-free discussion between one another in order to learn more about each side's stance and clear any misconceptions that they have, which generates more respect for one another. This is more important in educational institutions where most people are taught only one worldview or the other. Because it is in these institutions where one learns more about the world, it is important that they are taught both sides of the coin to ensure a more objective view on these arguments. With that said, we must acknowledge that no single worldview holds a monopoly on morality or truth.
In light of the debate, religion and secular perspectives can coexist to benefit society, but it requires a balanced approach that values open dialogue and mutual respect. Neither outright exclusion of religion from public life nor religious dominance serves the greater good. Instead, when religious views are invited into public debates in a way that emphasizes shared moral values like compassion, responsibility, and community, they contribute positively to democratic life. This coexistence benefits society by allowing people to draw on various ethical traditions, strengthening the fabric of public discourse without enforcing a single worldview. So ultimately, embracing diverse beliefs in an inclusive, balanced way creates a more resilient society where everyone has a voice and can work together toward common goals.
Being a competitive debater myself, I've always struggled with the frustration of shifting definitions, especially when I speak first. This always felt more like a competitive debate problem more than it is a real one, because at its core, the sport is about winning. This reading, however, shows that the somewhat unfortunate reality is that the same can be said for the real world, except that in the real world, the prize is not a trophy, but instead, power. I personally really found solace in Stout's arguments that highlight the importance and existence of a middle ground, one that isn't so dedicated to skewing perceptions of reality in one way or another. At the end of the day, words may mean nothing on their own, but can literally make the world of a difference when it interacts with people, politics, and issues it is assigned to. This serves as a stern reminder to me that words have power, so I should choose them wisely, as should everyone else.
Thank you all for joining us today and for being a part of this important conversation. We hope to see these questions inspire further thought and dialogue on the role of religion in shaping a more inclusive world.